Welcome to GOS Media. I'm Hannah Holt. A brand new doctor had a passion for wanting to help undeserved groups, so he decided to travel to the Amazon and treat the inhabitants of remote tribes dotting throughout the mountain. Upon arriving, he established his base camp and hospital in the small city nestled at the foot of the mountain. He also hired natives to serve as orderlies and a translator. The young man thought that once the village people heard there was a hospital nearby, they would trek down the mountain for healthcare. He soon realized it wouldn't be that easy, and so he decided to meet the people where they were. The doctor took weekly trips up the mountain and established a circuit from village to village until he worked his way back down the mountain. On one trip, he encountered a man who was obviously sick, and more than sick, he was knocking on heaven's door. He bundled the man in blankets, and the orderlies carried him to the hospital. As you would expect, the man's wife also made the journey to the hospital. As he was assessing the young man's condition, he was surprised at just how healthy the man was. Blood work, x-rays, MRIs, EKGs, and even a spinal tap were all negative. By every medical measure known, this man should not be on his deathbed. Yet, there he laid, life slowly ebbing away. Not knowing exactly what to do, he and his interpreter interrogated the wife. The doctor was flabbergasted when he heard that the man had been perfectly healthy until, that is, a witch doctor that roams the jungle came to the village demanding the man's livestock. The man refused, and the witch doctor blew powder in the man's face, telling him he would be dead in 3 weeks. The doctor chided the woman for believing such supernatural hooey and spent the entire day trying to convince the dying man that there was no reason to fear the witch or his spell. It was no use. The doctor could not convince the man or his wife that his symptoms were psychosomatic and he had nothing to fear. The doctor then had an idea. He grabbed his medical bag and ran straight towards the mountain, alone. The sun was setting and hospital staff were beginning to worry when the man's door burst open and the doctor staggered in, nearly falling to his knees. He was filthy as could be, torn clothes, and a foul odor was coming from his body. Catching his breath, he motioned for his interpreter to come near so he could tell the story of what happened. The doctor explained that he spent all day looking for the witch doctor, and when he found him, they had an incredibly vicious fight there on the jungle floor. The doctor surely believed he was not going to win until suddenly, he pinned the witch doctor against a tree and quickly tied him there with hanging vines. The doctor drank some water and continued. With the witch doctor tied down, he told the witch doctor he was going to leave him there so the animals could eat him alive. The witch doctor cried and pled for mercy until the doctor finally relented and said, "I will cut you free if you tell me what you did to the man in my hospital." He pulled himself over to the bedside of the man, telling him that the powder the witch doctor blew in his face contained frog eggs, and he was sick because a frog was growing in his stomach. "Is there nothing to be done?" the interpreter exclaimed on behalf of his wife. "Yes," the doctor said. "I would not release him until he gave me the antidote, and I have it here in my pocket." The doctor pulled a vial of brown liquid and told the man to drink it down. After only a minute or two, the man began to dry heave, and the doctor called his nurse to bring in a bucket. It was just in the nick of time that the doctor stuck the bucket under the man's chin. The doctor looked up from the bucket with surprise and disbelief. Using a pair of tongs, he pulled out a dead frog. Immediately, the man jumped out of bed with full vim and vigor, telling his wife he was hungry and wanted to go home. The interpreter was astonished. He was equally in disbelief, but now very worried. "Is magic real and to be feared?" he asked the doctor. The doctor patted him on the shoulder and told him that voodoo was just another fakery, and the villagers had nothing to fear. "But what did I just witness?" the interpreter asked. The doctor explained that he never went up the mountain, and he never fought the witch. He actually went home and took a nap. When he woke, the nurse tore his clothes and then helped him roll around in the dirt so it would look like he was in a fight. The brown liquid was a concoction used to induce vomiting when people have accidentally taken poison. And the frog? It was found dead, and the nurse put it in the bucket, then waited for the doctor to call her. From that time forward, every time the doctor went up the mountain, he brought enough of a blue-colored liquid so that each villager would have a 30-day supply. He told him that if they would drink 1 bottle a day, then no magic could harm them, forcing the witch doctor to find other villages to torment. It was difficult for the interpreter not to crack up laughing because he knew that the blue liquid was simply multivitamin infused with sugar water and a couple drops of blue food coloring. Modern society is no longer fooled by the power of voodoo. Well, most people aren't. It is alleged that P.T. Barnum said, "A fool and his money are soon parted," meaning people will believe almost anything if the sales pitch is right. Everyone gets fooled once in life. The problem isn't being fooled, it's the pain and embarrassment of learning we've been fooled, so we ignore, conceal, and lie about getting fooled, which allows scams to keep happening. Stop it! For those who refuse to admit they've been scammed, they validate today's grain of sugar. It's easier to fool people than convince them they have been fooled. Got a story about someone who wouldn't accept the fact they had been fooled, so you used a little trickery to protect them from themselves? Share it with the colony in the comments below. We're always looking for novel ideas to throw in our bucket. We would very much appreciate your support, and the easiest way to do it is simply like, subscribe, and share GOS with others. Or become a colony member by joining us on Patreon or snatch up some merch from our website. Links are pinned below. Once again, thanks for tuning in to Grains of Sugar. I've been your host, Hannah Holt.